90, a Cox Media Group station. It's Friday night. This is the Blitz Scoreboard Show. Here's your host, Brent Martineau.
Hey, happy 2021 football season in the high school ranks. Brent Martineau, along with Casey, our producer, who's way more than a producer after putting together this show. And the entire Friday Night Blitz team will go from radio, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, if you're there, kids, all the way to TV from 9 o'clock until 10:30 here, and then right into the Blitz on Fox 30. I'll run downstairs and we do some TV for a half hour, and then 11:20 we do it again, a quick Blitz edition on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Happy football season, week number 1. We've got some fantastic games. We've got a lot to get to, and we also say hello to our analyst for 2021. It's the Hall of Famer. It's the former coach of Jackson, Atlantic Coast, Ed White. He couldn't say goodbye to the game for so long, but he says hello to us on the Blitz Scoreboard Show. Hello, Kevin Sullivan. Good to have you, man.
Hey, man, good to be here. Week 1, babe, is what we've been waiting for. Been a crazy year, so let's get rolling. Week 1.
I bet. How about the juices flowing all over the area, right? I mean, it's got to be super exciting for everyone.
Yeah, well, week 1 is so exciting because everybody's 0-0, so everybody's expectation and everybody's good and everybody's got a chance and so on and so forth. So week 1 is a hard week going in as the coach because, you may not gel early, you may gel late, which is what you want to do. But, pretty excited getting started here week 1, ready to go. Good games out there, too, tonight.
Absolutely. We'll get your expertise on a lot of these games. We're going to highlight some specific games. Our game of the week on the TV side of things, and that means here on the Blitz Scoreboard Show as well, is Fletcher and Sandalwood. And there's about 2 minutes to go in that game. It's 15-12, Fletcher over Sandalwood. So a good one. Marcel Robinson is at that one. He will check in. He's got a lot of duties for the game of the week, and we will see how that one ends. But 1:45 to go in the game. Fletcher leads 15-12 at last check. Let me give you some other scores. Riverside over Terry Parker, 28-3. Middleburg, 58-0 over Stanton. University Christian, Booker T. Washington early on was 7-7 on our last report. Hilliard, 26-0 over Wolfson. And as we roll along, 24-0 Bishop Kenny over Providence. We have 42-0 Bowles over West Nassau. How about Mandarin? I was at that game. They've come back to tie it up over rival Atlantic Coast, 24-24 in the second half. Bartram Trail, a late ad with state runner-up a year ago, Rickards, and they're shutting them out 17-0. Nice and Ponte Vedra 14-7. Believe that's the game you're watching right now on the Blitz Scoreboard Show. Nice, with about a handful of minutes to go in the fourth quarter, up 14-7. And Clay and Fleming Island, that one is 14-0 at last check, according to our scoreboard. So we'll get to our game of the week with Marcel and how that one finishes with Sandalwood and Fletcher in just a bit. But first, let's ask you about Atlantic Coast and Mandarin coach, because I was over there, so I could tell you a little bit what happened in the first half, but you've been a part of this one. And as you told us on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690, well, Atlantic Coast hasn't really been that fortunate against Mandarin over the years since you were the head coach at Atlantic Coast. And Atlantic Coast looked good early in this one tonight.
Yeah, they were up good. They were up 14-0, and got a good veteran Mandarin team with a lot of returners from last year, and good coaching staff, Bobby Ramsey and his staff over there, and they're going to sort of get things figured out. Now they're in a barn burner tied 24-24, so we'll see how that one goes. I know Atlantic Coast does have a pretty good kicker that they were really high on there, so we'll see if it comes down to that, and Mandarin usually has a good kicker also.
Yeah, what's the emotions in that game, though? Because, I mean, obviously that's a big-time rivalry game. And, to start the year, you get it all flowing early on.
Yeah, well, see, week 1 is so hard because, conditioning plays into it late in the game. It's hot, muggy. We've had some rain all over the place also. And then the emotion of the whole day, the adrenaline for the kids being up and down. And I'm sure there were pep rallies today, and you try to keep them on an even keel. So, you hope you don't get the late turnover, or you hope you do get the late turnover, but you just try to get out of week 1 with a W, no matter how good your team is or how bad your team is.
How much do you unexpected in the first week of the year to know exactly what your team is? Fridays, they have jamborees, they have exhibition games. You've been in camp for a few weeks, but, I mean, how much did you roll into, like, an opening week and be like, well, I think I know this about the team, but I don't know this and this and this about the team. We're about to find out.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. That's what you do, because you sort of think, well, okay, I know this kid's a pretty good player. You know, we think he's all right. Let's say you're going offensive line, and we think our good combination, our guard and our tackle. And then the guard goes out there and goes out deer in the headlights, gives up a couple sacks, and then you start to reevaluate, because, you know, going against each other every day is a lot different than when the lights actually come on Friday night.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And obviously, you're just trying to stay healthy. There was a lot to consider tonight, too, because the weather looked like it could be an issue. Although, I'll tell you what, where I was, it was a little bit wet, but not a lot wet. And I think overall, we probably escaped a pretty decent night across the area in terms of weather.
Yeah, they had. Yeah, the south end of the county, I think, had a little bit more rain than, say, maybe the middle and the north end of the county, from what it looks like. I know down towards St. Augustine and there was some pretty good rain, and then they had the lightning delay out at Clay and Fleming Island too, so they're going to get a late score. So, yeah, the weather always plays a factor early on in the season. You know, you're going to. Hey, it's high school football Friday night. It's going to rain. You can know that the first 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah. You know, in a way, it's like, okay, I'm glad it's raining and it's not so hot. You know,
yeah,
I mean, that's
exactly.
The alternative, right? I mean, it could be like 100 degrees out. And it wasn't that steamy out there today, I will say. I mean, it's warm enough, of course. How about this? It looks like Sandalwood has just taken the lead over Fletcher, 19-15 late in the game. Again, we'll have that for you tonight on the Blitz at the very least. We'll probably have Marcel check in. He's at that game, and that was coming right down the wire. He just texted me. He said Sandalwood is driving for the win, and it looks like they just took the lead 19-15 over rival Fletcher. That's a good one too, Coach. Sandalwood and Fletcher go way back over the years. Heck, you can be sitting somewhere in a restaurant 35 years from now and be talking about the time you played Sandalwood or the time you played Fletcher.
Yeah, really, those two teams, you know, that's such a good battle, and being two real close to each other. And, you know, the kids grow up playing in that San Pablo organization, in that Pop Warner organization, or out at the beaches and everything. So they've grown up playing against each other. That's one of the games that those guys look forward to. And I guarantee you there's 10 to 15,000 people at that one tonight. And it always is an entertaining game. And again, just two well-coached teams. So it should be fun if Fletcher can get out, throw it around a little bit to get back in this one at the end.
Yeah, and I think they've changed quarterbacks in that game, too. I don't know if because of injury, but I thought I saw on social media they were trying different quarterback. So we'll see what Seatric Faison does. Of course, the fantastic Florida Gator, C4. Everybody knows him in the area. They know him by the beach. But this is his first game as the head coach. He's been around coaching, so he's been involved in it. But, boy, it's a different task, as you told us earlier today on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. I mean, there are a lot of details that he's probably going to write down tomorrow like, oh, shoot, I didn't realize about that. But he's got some good people around him, too.
Yeah, most definitely. And I'll take Brett in the game with Sandalwood. You know, that Sandalwood quarterback, Chris Calhoun, he's one of those underrated guys, too. As far as the quarterback goes, I know he's got a UConn offer and everything, but he's a really good athletic player. And I don't know if he has the weapons that they've had around him in the past. So he'll be one of those guys we look to, and he ended up scoring that late touchdown. So should be a good one if Fletcher can do something, and they usually have a kicker, so if they can get close, they may bomb a 60-yarder. Who knows?
You know, you're right. They always have a kicker out there at the beach. It's something about that. Fletcher has had a long list of them over the years. Brent Martineau, Coach Kevin Sullivan. We're just getting started here. First edition of the Blitz Scoreboard Show. And we'll bring Casey in a moment to tell you more about the Nice Ponte Vedra game that you're seeing on ESPN 690. Now, here's the deal. Just to give you a little background on this show, we started this last year, and we kind of like to say, because it's hard to describe it, kind of like a red zone-y kind of feel. You know, the red zone in the NFL. It's a red zone kind of feel for high school. But we have the scores. We have the highlights, some highlights. We have reaction. We have analysis with Coach. And so we'll stay here with you until 10:30. We've extended the show this year to try to get more finishes and more coaches on and bring you right up to the TV Friday Night Blitz. So this is a collaboration of the radio side, social media side, TV on CBS 47 and Fox 30. But if you're listening or if you're new to the show and you're watching on Twitter, as I see people jumping on, you really want to try to watch this show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Tell your family about it because There's a video element that's kind of cool, and that's the new part. Nobody else is doing it. We'll continue to give you scores. Casey, let's get you in here real quick. You're watching this Nice-Ponte Vedra game. What are we seeing?
That's the new part. Nobody else is doing it. We'll continue to give you scores. Casey, let's get you in here real quick. You're watching this.
Oh, Casey can't, I guess, right now. You're all right.
He there?
Yeah, we're okay.
We got it. We got it now. So Nice 7-7 for a long time in the fourth quarter. Nice breaks a long run about 3 or 4 minutes ago to make it 14-7. And then Ponte Vedra got it back deep in their own territory, threw an interception, held them off, got the ball to their positive 45, has now turned it over, and Nice is trying to run out the clock. 3rd and 7, 2 minutes to go.
All right, thanks for the update there. Nice and Ponte Vedra 14-7. You're checking it out, courtesy of the NFHS network, where you can see some of the games in the area. That might be Coach. Coach, you might have your computer sound on. Turn your radio down in your car, Coach.
I don't know what that was. Yeah, I think it was. Is that better?
That's better? Probably better. Yeah, you might have had your computer audio up as you're watching as well on the YouTube stream. I think you're doing so. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But either way, that's the basis of the show. And Hilliard's beating Wilson 26-0. Bartram Trail 17-0. Actually, let me get some refresh scores. Make sure I have them. Sandalwood in our game of the week over Fletcher. That is a final now, 19-15. So Sandalwood holds off. You see that as well, Casey? Final on the score stream. Yeah, final. It's gone. Wolfson. I was saying before, losing 26-0, and you can continue to see some of the scores, but we want to make sure we tell you too, if you're just listening on ESPN 690 in your car on the stream. Ask Alexa all the different things out there. But, hey, that's a good win for Sandalwood. Tough loss, by the way, for Seatric Faison for his first game, Coach.
Yeah, tough loss, but, I mean, these kids came ready to play. I mean, they were in the game. You know, remember, they've had some turmoil a little bit this summer with the changing of the coaches late and trying to get some things going. And, you know, it looks like the kids fought hard. It's a rivalry game, so anything can happen. And, again, it's week 1. So anything can happen, but he's got to be pleased with the way his kids fought. Again, like you said, Brent, he'll probably take away a few things. Maybe there was some clock management stuff he didn't do a good job of or whatnot, but he'll learn, he'll get better as they will as a team as he gets that program back moving forward.
Yeah, Brent Martineau, Kevin Sullivan here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. We call it the Blitz Scoreboard Show. Nice is, it looks like they're trying to hold off Ponte Vedra, and did they do it?
They got the first down. They still got a couple timeouts to use, as in Ponte Vedra, but it looks like Nice is going to hold on to this one.
Wow, so they had like a 3rd and 7 and end up getting a first down. So that's the update. That'd be a nice win for Nice over Ponte Vedra. Steve Price, the new head coach at Ponte Vedra. That's a good place to be a head football coach. He comes over from NFC. So obviously looks like it won't be a great debut in one of the rivalry games in St. Johns County, but NFC, a very good program. You know them well over the years, Coach.
Yeah, NFC, yeah. Steve's done a good job. I've heard him speak a few times at some clinics and everything back in the day. And, you know, Nice has gone through, Ponte Vedra's gone through some transition, too, with different coaches and interim coaches. And they're on, like, he's the 3rd coach this year because of the change in the middle of the year after 4 games last year. And, Nice getting this win, that'd be like the first time, I think about 10 years they've beaten them in about 10 years. I know it's like the second time in 12. So I'm sure they're trying to run this out to get out of there and get going.
Yeah, I think you're right. They're kneeling on it right now. So Nice is going to get the win. That's a really nice win for the Nice Panthers in St. Johns County. And you mentioned it, Ponte Vedra, that's a heck of a job. So Steve Price will do a good job. But there's been a little bit of turnover there, so he has to get things right. And we'll see how quick he can do it. Baker County over Bradford. Camden County beating Glenn up in southeast Georgia. Let's give you some other scores. Yulee over Hawthorne 7-6. That one in the 4th. Bishop Kenny now up 31-0 over Providence. Middleburg 58-0 over Stanton, according to the scores we have in. Trinity Christian and Rains. That's a good one, Coach. 24-18. Trinity Christian. Is Rains hanging around in this game a little bit more than you thought they would?
I think that they had a lot offensively coming back, so I knew they were going to be able to score some points. And then, defensively, they're always really solid. Rains is, and Trinity's one of those teams that I always believe they get better as the year goes on. And again, they got a new young starting quarterback, and they've got explosive athletes everywhere. So I think it's going to be a good game, and it's a week 1 game. Again, a close game. Maybe at week 8 or 9, it's different, but I believe Trinity starts slow, and Reigns always starts a little slow also.
Yeah, that's a good matchup. We'll talk more about that matchup coming up in a little bit. Menendez beating Matanzas, Columbia over American Heritage. Let's take our first break of the night, if we can, Casey. We'll come back. We'll give you updates on some of the games that are going final. Remember, starts are all over the place in Northeast Florida. You get 6:30, you get 7 o'clock, you get 7:30 starts. So we'll update you on some of the late games and some of the games that have finished, and we'll continue to give you some highlights, peeks in on the finals of some, and also some highlights that we already have in-house here at the Action Sports Jax studios. More to come. Brett Martineau, Kevin Sullivan, Casey on a Friday night, the first one for the Blitz Scoreboard Show. We're fired up for it. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter to see some video. Our Blitz QB High Five coming up, plus the first ever edition of Committed to the Uncommitted, brought to you by Baker Sports. That's on the way as well, right after this on ESPN 690.
I'm Glenn Levine, a board-certified civil trial lawyer. That means the Florida bars recognize me as an expert in the field of civil trial. As a trial lawyer, I'm trained to investigate every aspect of your case. If you've been involved in a legal dispute and are not sure of your options, call me, Glenn Levine, at the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation, and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Quitting tobacco isn't easy. In all honesty, it's a very hard thing to do. The good news is Tobacco Free Florida is here to help you quit your way. When you call Tobacco Free Florida's phone quit service at 1-877-YOU-CAN-NOW, you'll connect to a quit coach who will help you assess your addiction. You may also qualify for free nicotine patches or gum. So call us at 1-877-YOU-CAN-NOW to double your chances of success. No judgments, just help.
Welcome to a place where everyone deserves to be better protected, where technology has your back, where you can have better protection and keep more money in your pocket, where you can have protection for your car, your home, your phone, and even your digital identity. Welcome to a place where your entire life can be better protected. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Allstate and affiliates offer products and services subject to availability, terms, and conditions.
Every 2 minutes, a woman in the U.S. is diagnosed with breast cancer. And in that split second, her life changes forever. The toll of breast cancer is great. The need to support those who are battling the disease today is even greater. We're fighting alongside patients because we know one moment can change a lifetime. United by hope, we can end breast cancer. Join our fight. Save lives.
Hey, welcome back. This is a fun night, a Friday night, and in our business, that's always fun. We've added to it. It's a rush. There's a lot going on. Everybody moving all over the place in the area. Videographers, Casey here, pushing all sorts of buttons, combining radio with social media and TV. We got it all for you. And if you've never heard the Blitz Scoreboard Show from a year ago, it's new and improved and better than before. And that's because we got Kevin Sullivan, former head coach in the area, with us on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and the Blitz Scoreboard Show. He'll join us every Friday night this year. And a couple of the finals in, Coach, already that everybody's talking about and everybody will talk about. Our game of the week on the Blitz, that is Sandalwood over Fletcher, 19-15. Got a good one in the fourth quarter between your former school, Atlantic Coast, and Mandarin. We'll update folks on that one in just a moment. We've got 24-18, Trinity over Reigns. So some good games out there on this opening night to keep an eye on. I'll give you another one, Coach. Riverside, formerly Lee, Riverside Generals. They look good early. They looked good last week against Bartram Trail. They look good against Parker tonight. O.J. Small has that cooking over there in the backyard.
Oh, yeah, they got a rolling. They got some good, the quarterback.
Caleb
Zaire.
Yeah.
Caleb Zara. He's a 3-year starter. So he's got when I talked to OJ earlier in the week, he said, he's got a really good feel of what they're trying to do. offensively and everything now. And, he's added a couple extra weapons. They're using Jaquan Singletary, the 5-star corner, on offense also. And, man, it's they got a chance to do something really special this year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Jaheim Singletary, he's like the best corner in the class. I mean, that's how good he is. We've had some really good corners around here. Fred Davis is up at Clemson. Sean Wade just got traded. He made it to the NFL from Ohio State. He's a former Friday Night Blitz Player of the Year. Trinity just seems like they've been loaded and loaded and loaded. There's a kid up at Georgia Tech from Trinity. I mean, we've really had a lot of corners. It's funny when you go over the years, all the talent in the area is ridiculously good. But if you break down positions most recently, the corner position might be the best of them all.
Well, the best thing about the corner position is that everybody can't get enough of them. You can't get enough DBs, the guys that can play inside and man cover, some good slot guys, or play outside. They got nickel corners now, and they've got slot corners now, and then they got corners. So you can't get enough of those guys. So those guys are always going to get recruited, and they're always going to have an opportunity to really do some good things.
Sandalwood getting the win over Fletcher. Nice gets the win over Ponte Vedra. 2 big wins for both of those teams to start the year. You mentioned Chris Calhoun. He's a UConn commit, and he's someone that we have to watch in our Blitz QB High Five. Started that last year. We're to keep an eye on some of the quarterbacks in the area, and Calhoun's one that can beat you with the arms and the legs, Coach.
Yes, he is. And again, like I said, he may not quite have the weapons, the known weapons on offense that they've had in the past there. And so I think the burden's going to fall on him a little bit more. And he's got a good grasp, really smart kid, and got a really good grasp of what they're trying to do. But he's a threat to run it or throw it anytime he touches the ball.
There you could see, by the way, Baker County beating Bradford 28-6 as we snuck a peek at that game here on the Scoreboard show. And now you see our Blitz QB High Five. And again, this is something that we'll do. This first edition is kind of, hey, keep your eye on these guys. And then as the weeks go along, we'll rank them off performance and how guys are playing. So this will not always be this 5. But let's take a look at this list, Coach. You go over to the Trinity Christian. Colin Hurley, he looks the part. He's a freshman. There are some people that think this guy might be the best prospect from around here in a while, and especially over there at Trinity Christian. And when you start saying that, that's saying a lot.
Yeah, without a doubt. Really good kid. Has a good been being trained, by our guy over there.
Yeah.
And he's really high on him. He throws a good ball. He's got good touch. And again, they're not always known for offensive prowess at Trinity. It's more like you said, the DBs and the linebackers and the defensive guys and stuff. And this is a guy that they can really hang their hat on and really build that side of the ball on. Again, remember, they've had a change. They've gone from the 3A state champions, and they've dropped classification to 2A. And so this young man is going to be a tremendous player for years to come in this area.
Yeah, I mean, again, a young guy, but that's a name you will hear a lot about. They're already talented around him, as you know. Now, number 4, we say, and again, these are really not in any particular order, but just for the sake of it, we did it. DJ Moore, Bowles, how do they replace what they've had over the years? This young man looked pretty good in the exhibition game a week ago.
Yeah, DJ, from what I've seen, watching a little bit of tape on him, he's got a really nice ball. Again, he's coming into a good situation where they've got a tremendous running back over there in Cade Few. And so that takes the pressure off a young guy. You know what I mean? That takes the pressure off somebody trying to light up and bring 8 guys at a guy starting for the first time, because you've got the running back and the capabilities and everything. So I think he's landed in a really good spot. I know that he was tied with the Oakleaf guys, a couple of the Oakleaf players. I saw some social media stuff where they've grown up together and everything, but they've all sort of gone their own way. So again, another young player in a quality program that we'll be hearing about in the future.
Well, we just mentioned this young man's name from Riverside. He's been there forever, it seems like. Remember when we were doing the play-by-play in the backyard a couple of games against Columbia? This guy was running around. I was saying his name wrong. We said his name wrong last week. We called him Cole, Zara. Here's what I did. I direct messaged Kale this week, I said, hey, man, you got to let us know. I feel like we've been screwing up your name left and right, and you've been all over the highlights, all over the place, and we got to get it right. So I said, what is it? And I tried to phonetically spell it. I'm not really good at that stuff, Coach, but I said, we think it is Kale Zara. So Kale Zara is there a senior. He's a little dude now. I know. I think I saw on his social media Warner University was looking at him, but he is savvy. He gets it done, and they've got a lot of talent around him. Keep an eye on Riverside. Keep an eye on the Generals, and keep an eye on Kale Zara.
Yeah, without a doubt. And again, remember when we did that game when his sophomore year, we were like, they've got all those big old guys, and he's not big in stature, but he plays a lot bigger than he is. And college coaches, if it says 5'9", at a quarterback, they're not going to spend a lot of time, and they miss out on those really good athletic kids, but there's always a place for them to play. But he's got a good grasp of what they're trying to do offensively, and he definitely has some weapons around him now to help increase his skill set.
Yeah, no doubt about it. As we take a look, we talked Chris Calhoun already just a moment ago, and I want you to comment about this young man, Jalen Saunier from Jackson. Again, you're very familiar with the Jackson program. You're athletic director over there the last couple of years. You know Coach Foy really well. This is a talented young man. He has been there and played a lot of football now for the Tigers.
Yes, really has done a really nice job developing and becoming more of a leader. And has a better grasp of not trying to throw the deep ball every play and understanding what they're trying to do. He's got a really good guy over there coaching him, Devin Wilson, that plays in the Arena League at wideout. So when he comes in and he's helping him and coaching him, he's really taken to the coaching part. And the thing I liked about him is he moves around in the pocket. He keeps his eyes down the field, and he does throw the ball with some authority. And again, even though they got beat tonight by Westside, that Jalen is going to be an integral part as they continue to build that program back.
All right, I got an update on some of the scores that is our Blitz QB High Five. We will talk more about those quarterbacks throughout the weeks ahead, and we'll change that and rank these guys a little bit week to week. So pay attention to our Blitz QB High Five as we take you back to some of the action and some of the scores. Atlantic Coast Mandarin, we still have this at 24-all, Coach, late in the fourth quarter. It's a really good game. Again, I was over there. It was 17-9 at halftime. It was 14-0 Atlantic Coast early on in this game. And it was funny. Someone on the Mandarin sideline said, hey, I'm here now. This is about to change. 3 plays later, Mandarin scored a touchdown. It was 14-7. And then this thing got knotted up in the second half, 24-24. We're going to take a look at some of the highlights that I shot earlier. This was earlier in the game, and Atlantic Coast has a young man named Fats Walker. I wish I could be called Fats Walker. I think it just sounds cool, but he is a load, man, and he gets it done on both sides of the ball. He scored a touchdown while I was there. Coach knows all about this rivalry, 24-24. We're keeping an eye on that score to see if it gets updated here any minute.
I got my sideline reporter Jamie Dooley there trying to get me the score.
Oh, that's a good. Hey, you got connections everywhere, man. Hey, that's the whole idea of this show. Get everybody updates and all that. So I love it. You tell us when you can. Do you know what? You know you obviously hired Mike Montemayor, the head coach there, right? You were telling us that story earlier, 21 years old. He's more of a defensive guy, right? I mean, he's a defense coordinator for you?
Yeah, so we brought him on. When we opened Atlantic Coast brand new, he had said, of course, we had played against him. I coached against him when I was at Mandarin, and he was still playing. And so I coached against him. So he had sent me an email, and then we brought him on as a 21-year-old. He ran our JV defense, and he's been there the whole time. He's one of the only mainstays as far as coaching-wise that's still there from the early years.
What the 2 playoff wins last year, to be able to do that, break through there, that was a big moment. Like, you talk about a game like this kind of be one of those signature wins as well, right? To be able to beat Mandarin. I mean, heck, they're 2.5 miles away from each other, and Mandarin's had the number. So this could be a big moment for Atlantic Coast if they could get the W.
Yeah, without a doubt. And both ways, again, it's going to be a good game. I mean, I know one year they beat us. I think maybe our second or third year they beat us, and then they went 2-8, and they beat us week 1, and we ended up going 7-3 that year. So, there's always different emotions early on, but anytime you can beat your rival opening the season, that's what it's about. Give you those bragging rights.
Yeah, I would say so. So the last check we have is 24-24. You're seeing some of the highlights from that game, and they have a young quarterback, by the way. Mandarin does, a freshman quarterback playing. Bobby Ramsey continues to just do a good job. Mandarin usually has some athletes, but it looks like from a young QB situation, Coach, that might take a little bit of patience and time. But Mandarin and Bobby Ramsey, they did this when they won the state championship. They kind of are a type of program and team that gets better as it goes.
Yeah, they do a really good job. The offensive coordinator, Toby, who's been with Bobby for a while, Toby Bullock, that's a local Duval County product, also Inglewood High School, does a really good job. And I think they do a nice job of getting things out and about and figuring out what their kids can and can't do. And I think they're one of the best doing it.
Yeah, we'll take a look at some of the other scores coming up here, as my page, of course, won't refresh. I know you're working on that as well. So we'll keep updating you on scores. Columbia without Brian Allen. It's weird to see him not on the sideline, but they're up in American Heritage 33-10. That's impressive.
Yeah, that's I was surprised when I saw the score earlier today. Now, they've got a few kids over there that we follow, that we've seen, covered them live a few times when we did the radio 2 years ago. And remember, the middle linebacker hurt his knee, and I can't remember the young man's name, and he's a senior this year. I saw him at Media Day and talked to him at the high school Media Day. And so, they're always going to have some guys, and I think they're going to surprise some people, and it's going to be them and Lee battling and banging heads in another outstanding game down the road.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like you got to dial it up. If you could match up two teams, and remember there was that stretch where it was Bowles and Rains was a great matchup.
Right.
I think right now, if you seriously could match up two teams, I think you'd probably match up Columbia and Lee. I mean, it just seems like it's a dandy every time they play.
Yeah, every time, and we had them twice to one year, and they were tremendous games. It was crazy. The one was the Mud Bowl down there, overtime.
Yeah. Nobody could score.
Right, nobody could score, and the other game was a high-scoring affair, and so those two guys, they're probably on a collision course to get going, and they'll probably play more than once this year, I got to say.
Well, and Marcus Peterson, by the way, is like the big stud, right, the wide receiver. And I think he's headed to Cincinnati, if I'm not mistaken. But he's a big dude now. He's like 200-pound wide receiver, 6'2", and he's one of the best weapons in the entire area and maybe the state. Update on that now is 46-16, by the way. We still don't have an updated score from Atlantic Coast and Mandarin, 24 all in the fourth quarter. Hilliard over Wilson, 44-40. Bartram Trail, 17-0 over Rickards was the last check. You mentioned Westside beat Andrew Jackson 13-0. Clay and Fleming Island, that's a good game. And Fleming Island, it seems like all they do is win. But Clay getting the better side of things. Alcurious Ray is one of the best running backs in the entire state. He's approaching 4,000 yards in his career. It's super productive. And they're up 14-0. You mentioned that, Coach. That got lightning delayed a little bit.
Yeah, that got lightning delayed, and Fleming's had the Clay number. Even all those really good Clay teams that they've had, I think Fleming's probably won the last 6 or 7 of them. And so this would be a monumental win for Clay as they're coming out. And but boy, that Aquarius Ray, he's a good-looking kid running the football, and I believe he went over 4,000 tonight.
He probably did. I think he was pretty close.
Yeah, but I believe he went over. He had a 60-yard run or something, and I think I got a message that he went over it right there. So that's a good job for him. But boy, if they can get that one, that's going to be a great win for Clay County.
Bowles 42-0 over West Nassau. Sandalwood 19, Fletcher 15. That was our game of the week and will be our game of the week. We'll cover it big time on the TV side on the Friday Night Blitz. Riverside 28-3 over Terry Parker. Bishop Kenny beats Providence 31-0. Middleburg 58-0 over Stanton. Hope Christian over St. John's Country Day 40-0. Some of the scores that are passing through here on our first Friday night. How about this one? University Christian over Booker T. Washington 22-7. That was an 8 o'clock start. Oh, that'd be a nice win, huh?
Yeah, that's Booker T in the Panhandle, not Booker T in Miami.
Oh, yeah, that's why. No wonder. And that's why it started at 8.
Yes.
Thanks for correcting me. So it's still a nice win on the road. They always played such a tough schedule. And that's Booker T in the Panhandle, as Coach just said. That's why he's here, to straighten me out. Hey, this just in. Atlantic Coast beats Mandarin 27-24. So the first time since you were there, Coach, the Stingrays get the win over the Mustangs. Obviously, it was a late field goal that got it done.
Yeah, that's what my sideline guy didn't get that to me. I figured I would have got that before you got that today, trying to get the scoop in. But if that's the case, that is going to be a tremendous win for Coach Monemeyer and the Stingrays over there, going over to Mandarin and getting the win to start 1-0 and getting things rolling. And I texted him a picture today because back in we have the President's Cup, or the Principal's Cup, I should say, that goes back and forth amongst the winners. And I texted him a picture today of us in the coach's office with that from 14. I said, hopefully we're getting this done tonight. And hopefully it sounds like that's happened, which is a great win for the Stingrays.
Yeah, it'd be a really good win. Like I just mentioned, too, right? I mean, looking at the playoffs last year and now this win, those are some really good wins for the program at Atlantic Coast. Right now, you're taking a look at Bartram Trail leading Rickards 17-7. We gave you some live action from around the area, and that game was late ad for Bartram Trail. They're up 17-7 over Rickards at home down in St. Johns County. You can tell it's a little bit foggy down there, right? Some of the rain and the weather in the area, but hey, might be better than being steaming hot on a Friday night, and so far so good for the talented Bartram Trail program. We're going to send you to break and keep you watching that game for a little bit. More scores. We're going to try to line up some coaches here over the next 45 minutes or so and get some reaction from week 1. Meanwhile, our coach continues to join us. It's Kevin Sullivan. I'm Brent Martineau. Casey pushing all the buttons. It's week 1 of the Blitz Scoreboard Show. We're having a blast. You get to watch some live action, see some highlights, scores, analysis, interviews. It's all on the way. There's nothing else like it, and it leads into the Friday Night Blitz at 10:30 on Fox 30 coming up in less than an hour. We'll be right back on ESPN 690.
After a long day, having my dogs greet me at the door with their silly smiles and wagging tails makes me happy. I want to keep that joy with me for years to come. That's why I trust Forever Vets Animal Hospital to keep my pets healthy. Forever Vets was voted 2019's best vet in Jacksonville Magazine's Readers Poll, and it's easy to see why. The affordable wellness plans are tailored to meet all of your pets' changing needs as they grow. Open 7 days a week, Forever Vets friendly staff is available to treat you and your pet with care. They combine extended hours with online booking to allow you to give your pet quality care while accommodating your schedule. Go online to forevervets.com to find which of their 9 locations is nearest you. And don't forget their newest location in Bartram Market. Forever Vets Animal Hospital, keeping your pets happy and healthy forever.
Quitting tobacco isn't easy. The good news is, Tobacco-Free Florida is here to help you quit your way by offering the free support and tools you'll need to succeed. Our AHEC cessation program offers Group Quit, virtual classes you can take from the comfort of your own home across every county in Florida. All you need is a phone, tablet, or computer. You may also be eligible to receive up to $400 worth of free quit aids, such as nicotine patches, lozenges, or gum. You aren't alone, and our group quit sessions can offer the support you've needed all along. It doesn't matter how many times you've tried to quit, now is your time to succeed, because now is the time to quit your way. So give us a call at 1-877-YOU-CAN-NOW to double your chances of success. Ask about free nicotine replacement options to help you quit today. This is your start to a tobacco-free life. No judgments, just help.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the Blitz Scoreboard Show. Brent Martineau along with Hall of Fame coach Kevin Sullivan and Casey, as we're pushing all the buttons. Oh, Casey's pushing all the buttons, giving you scores, some highlights, getting coaches on. It's a lot of fun. It's really cool. As I tell everybody, the show will continue to evolve as well, quite frankly, we get better at it. We got a lot of different things going, a lot of irons in the fire, but so far so good. Casey's doing an awesome job. Justin Kuzart, who did this last year, helped build a lot of this stuff, and now we feel like it's going in a great direction. And we're just trying to bring you to the end of games, kind of Red Zone Channel-esque, if we can, at least give you the latest scores and updates. We'll do it all the way up until 10:30, and then I'll run downstairs and do TV for the Friday Night Blitz, 10:30 on Fox 30. Some of the scores that are in, and some of the big ones. Atlantic Coast beat Mandarin 27-24. Sandalwood in the Battle of the Ditch, 19-15 over Fletcher out at the beach. Riverside beats Terry Parker 28-3. Trinity Christian 24. Rains 18. Westside beats Jackson 13-0. And we continue to march on, 42-0. Bowls over West Nassau in some of these other matchups. Stingrays over Mustangs. We've talked a lot about that. Saints and Senators. We talked about our game of the week quite a bit. We've mentioned Kale Czar and O.J. Small and Riverside and what they've been able to do. Trinity hangs on 24-18. I like your thought process there too, Coach. A lot like Mandarin, I think Trinity's a team that kind of gets better as it goes. Don't start making too many decisions about what they look like or who they are too early in the season.
Well, yeah, especially week one. There's so many factors that evolve with week one. And now you've added a COVID and cancellations of games and people move. You know what I mean? So there's so many other factors week one that to me is week one is just week one. And then after that, you start to evaluate. We always used to tell the kids, you make your biggest strides during the season between the kickoff classic and week one and week two. And, that's how you got to look at it as a coach, no matter what.
Yeah, I would say that's a good way to look at it. I think a lot of different levels, a lot of different sports. I think that's the way people look at it. By the way, Harvest Community and Christ Church Academy, I was at that game. I'll tell you, it's fun. Harvest Community back in 11-man football, and someone on the side was like, hey, I'm glad we're back in 11-man football,
Right.
So, and just some fun obviously those kind of teams, Coach, you've been around this long enough, they don't have just the numbers, right? And so guys have to play both ways. And you look at their sideline, you're like, why are there only like 12 people over here, right?
Right.
And then you go to like Bartram Trail, and there's like 200 right down there.
Yeah.
But it's fun, man. I mean, they play a fun brand. You know what I love about some of those smaller schools? They play a fun brand of ball.
Well, yeah, and they play what fits what they have, and I've seen some of those schools come out and be like 5 wide the whole game, and then the next year they're in wishbone because that's what their personnel dictates and stuff. And those guys on those smaller schools, they have so many other things, like Frank Andre over at Eagles View, he's always constantly roster changing, and for him to stay in there and do that. So I give those guys a lot of props and a lot of credit. Some of the small schools, they've really got to be innovative on what they're trying to do with their rosters.
Hey, let's talk about another school that you were at. How many schools were you at, Coach? I mean, and by the way, it's just because you retired like 14 times. That's why. I mean, it's not like you got fired.
No, never got fired. I have to say that. There might have been 1 or 2 they wanted me to leave earlier than I did, but no, I never got fired. That I can definitely say.
That's awesome. Well, Ed White with a nice win over Wakulla 2013, and that was a last-moment game because of COVID. They had to reschedule, and so Ed White schedules Wakulla, and they get the win at home 20-13.
Yeah, that's a good win for them to open the season. That's a really good win. Again, week one, trying to get a win, trying to play. Again, there was a big Baldwin was the cancellation game, and everybody knows they're sort of shut down for a couple of weeks over there. But, and that was sort of a West Side rivalry type of game. So for them to be able to fill that game with Wakulla coming over here to Jacksonville and not having to go to Wakulla, which is at least 10 points, not having to go to Wakulla to play because you're down 10-0 when you get over there. But the way the officials in the Big Ben are, I'm not supposed to say that, but no, really, yeah, that's a really good win. Get them started up on the right track. That's awesome for them.
Well, we're going to try to get some of these coaches in here too. Menendez beats Matanzas 29-0. We told you about Nice over Ponte Vedra. We showed you a little bit of that one earlier in the Blitz Scoreboard show. 14-7. They hang on to get the win. Must be long post game talks right now with a lot of these coaches.
Well, you got some of them on the bus now, getting back on the bus. I was like, I used to call from the bus.
Yeah,
I'd be like talking on the bus, man. Let's go.
I know it. Well, there's a lot of emotion, too, a lot to take care of. You got to shut the lights off if you're at home as well with some of these wins. Middleburg wins 58-0 over Stanton. Bowles 42-0 over West Nassau. Bishop Kenny beats Providence 31.
That's a big win for them.
Nothing.
That's a good win for Coach Krause at Bishop Kenny.
It is, and they got a young quarterback they really like, too. And that is a nice win because I was at Providence last week, and we're going to mention this young man in a bit, Tavio Toller. He can really run the ball. He ran it 350 yards and 7 touchdowns last week. And so to put a goose egg up on the board, that was a nice job by the defense of Bishop Kenny.
Yeah, and they've had a couple down years, the last 2 years. Last year they won one, and, Coach Krause is a really good coach, and that's a unique place to play right there at Bishop Kenny, too. It's probably the best facility as far as what's around it and playing on a Friday night under those lights there on the river. But, that's a really good win to get them to 1-0 and get them sort of moving forward as they coming off the 1-9 last year.
All right, Bartram Trail added another score. So if they hit the extra point, it's 24-7 over Rickards. Again, that was a late game ad. How much do they just want to play those games, Coach? I mean, when Bartram Trail had to find somebody else, they did it quickly. Rickards, state runner-up, I believe, from last year in 5A.
Very good program.
Yeah,
yes,
so, I mean, that's a nice – I mean, on short notice – I mean, heck, it feels like you could take you'd like a month to game plan for some teams. Some of these teams got like a day or two. That's it.
Yeah, and that's a tribute to both coaches not to play.
Yeah.
So I mean, even Rickards is at the disadvantage because they came over here.
Yeah, they had to travel.
So that's a little bit, but that's, again, you want your kids, you don't know how many opportunities, especially with the COVID lurking out there, that you're going to get. So if you can not get a game canceled and not lose a game, or you can pick a game up at last minute, you got to do it because you don't know what's going to happen with the uncertainty of the season. So my hat's off to them, Rickards, Wakulla. We also had another cancellation that involved St. Augustine, even though St. Augustine couldn't play, but the team they were supposed to play, they picked up a last-minute game on Thursday
that was last
to play
night.
On Friday.
Yeah, that was last night that happened. Obviously, St. Augustine couldn't find anybody. In fact, next week they'll be our Blitz game of the week. It was St. Augustine. So that will be their opener of the year. I want to go back to Bartram Trail for a moment, and you know the Jackson program very well, and both programs have been dealt a big blow in the last few months. The passing of coaches down at Bartram Trail just last week, Jimmy Kirk unexpectedly, big in the community down there in St. Johns County, and as you know very well, 2 coaches over a 4-month span at Jackson.
Yes.
I mean, just devastating and very close to the kids, Coach. I mean, this has to be just hard to fathom, hard to believe, hard to comprehend for so many of the young men. Heck, it's got to be hard enough for the coaches and parents and everybody else, but really tough situation for a lot of folks at Jackson and at Bartram Trail.
Yeah, and the hard thing about that is, as the kids, they get attached to the coaches because the coaches put so much time and effort into them, and it's not like, oh, hey, coach was driving home and he got in a car accident, or you can't explain a 33-year-old Coach Kirk over at Bartram Trail passing away, and then Donald Rocker, our 27-year-old from Jackson, just passed going home. Practiced on Saturday morning, and Sunday morning he's passed away, and that's hard to explain. That's hard for any of us to deal, but let alone the kids, on the team and everything. And real resilient group of kids, both the programs, they'll lean on each other. Good men of faith, good guys leading them, and the kids just got to pick it up and always carry those coaches with them. To keep their memory and keep them alive. As we say, and we were saying, Coach Rocker's big saying was be legendary, and that's what those kids want to try to do.
Yes, Donald Rocker and Lynn J. Shell at Jackson, Jimmy Kirk at Bartram Trail, thoughts and prayers to all those families and everybody impacted. And, they'd want them to play, and now they pick up and play, and they play for them. There's, I think, just a lot of tributes and remembrances along the way. So it'll be really interesting to watch as the season develops. But you mentioned it. I mean, this is far beyond Friday night. So the impact, those those guys, those young guys, like you said, all of them under 40 years old.
Yeah, everybody under. And you know, and Lynn J, he not only just was with our guys, but, you know, he's been at Rebolt for a bunch of years, coaches girls weightlifting. If you meet him for 5 minutes, you're a friend of his. You know what I mean? And that's the kind of life and legacy we all hope to leave, you know. And just to be with the kids, it's just so hard, and they don't understand it, and they just, you know, they fight through, and they just got to keep going and keep moving on. And, you know, football brings you back to normal. Sports brings you back to normal, keep you together. A lot of life lessons.
Yeah, no doubt. By the way, Verlin Dormady checking in with us after the win over Reigns. He said they're on their way back to campus now. He said it's kind of loud on the bus. So we might not get Verlin for a little bit, but maybe when they get back to campus, we'll see if we have time. I'm sure we'll catch up with Verlin at some point. You know that feeling, though. You come back with a W, especially when you're at the Graveyard on the road on a Friday night in week number 1. Reason to celebrate.
Yeah, most definitely. And they should be rowdy. Anytime you can go to the Graveyard and win, it doesn't matter what team you are. You know what I mean? There's a lot of teams that go in there and don't get out. So that's a big win for them and get them started. And, you know, their schedule isn't as daunting as a year ago, but it's still pretty good. And they're not afraid to play anybody, anywhere, any place anyways.
All right, I want to update everybody on the scores. Yulee has lost to Hawthorne 14-7, so a late score for Hawthorne gets it done. Menendez beats Matanzas 29-0. We have Nice over Ponte Vedra, doubled them up 14-7, got a late first down to clinch that. We mentioned St. Augustine got canceled. Rebolt and Creekside will go tomorrow. Orange Park and Oakleaf will go tomorrow. Now, let's see, what else we got? Sandalwood beats Fletcher 19-15, excuse me. Hope Christian over St. John's Country Day 40-0. Bishop Kenny over Providence 31-0. Middleburg 58-0. So some big scores. Bowles 42, West Nassau 0. Ed White gets an opponent late and beats him 20-13 over Wakulla. Westside beats Andrew Jackson 13-0. Trinity over Reigns 24-18. Riverside beats Terry Parker 28-3. And really one of the big ones of the day is Atlantic Coast over Mandarin 27-24. A big win for the Stingrays. We'll keep giving you scores. We'll give you some analysis. We'll play some of the highlights if you missed them and you're just joining us. We're the Blitz Scoreboard Show. Kevin Sullivan here, Casey here. I'm Brent Martineau, the entire Action Sports Jacks team working on a high school Friday night in week 1.
First one.
Yeah, we'll bring you down all the way until 10:20-ish, 10:30, and then I'm hustling down. We'll see it all on TV on Fox 30. I know Marcel just hustled back. He's putting all the highlights from our game of the week, which is Sandalwood Fletcher and the Saints beating the Senators 19-15. So we'll keep you updated on the latest as you're driving home in your car, ESPN 690, but also want you to check out the video feeds, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, because we are playing live video, some of the endings of these games, and you can watch them. Coming up next, for the first time ever, committed to the uncommitted. A young man that, well, certainly good enough to play at the next level. Will he get a chance? We'll introduce you to him. Brought to you by Baker Sports. Coming up next on ESPN 690.
When you think about Jacksonville, you think about a city that is surrounded by water. And being by water afforded Jacksonville to have one of the largest container ports in the entire country. And another fun fact that RV sales are at an all-time high right now. But what does this all mean? What am I getting at? It means that there's high-paying jobs available for those that know the ins and outs of the marine side and of the land side of recreational vehicles. And this is where JTech comes into play. JTech offers a program where you can learn about the diagnostic procedures and effective repair methods of a variety of recreational vehicles, including motorhomes and RVs, power boats, jet skis, diesel and gasoline, outboard and inboards, and much more. And they also help prepare students to take the Yamaha certification exam, which is required in the Marine Maintenance Certification Program. To learn more about JTech, visit jtech.org or call them at 904-483-9460. Ask for Hank to set up an appointment to tour the campus or get your questions answered. That's 904-483-9460 or visit jtech.org.
If you're like me, you come home from work and walk through a messy garage hurdling shoes and bats and bikes. Well, get the easy garage solution that I got. It's called Easy Garage Solutions. One-of-a-kind monkey bar technology that will last a lifetime. Hang the bikes and the lawn equipment. Easy Garage Solutions. Shelving and overhead storage for boxes and bins. Easy Garage Solutions. Cabinets and flooring available too. Easy Garage Solutions. Find them at easygaragesolutions.com. Easy Garage Solutions. It's that easy. You work hard for that car or truck you're driving, so take care of it with the best car wash around. It's Prime Car Wash. That's where I take my truck. Full service interior, full service exterior. Speed and service just for you. If you need to wait in style. There's spacious lounges, child-friendly lounges, Wi-Fi, and Starbucks coffee, so you can get some work done. Prime Car Wash has 2 locations, Beach Boulevard and San Jose. Give it a try. Get a membership. Your vehicle deserves the best. You deserve the best. Prime Car Wash. Clean inside, clean outside.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Hey, welcome back to the Blitz Scoreboard Show. Having a blast right now on a Friday night, week 1, as we get our feet wet for year 2 of the Blitz Scoreboard Show. Once again, I got to keep reminding you, we'll take you to the end of games and show you some highlights, the ones we can, the ones our videographers on the TV side shot. I brought you some Atlantic Coast and Mandarin already. We'll have some Christchurch and Harvest Community, a peek in on some of the highlights from that one. We showed you a little Baker County and Bradford. Baker County was up 28-6. We showed you the end of Nice beating Ponte Vedra 14-7. So we've had several up there already on the video side of things. And as we continue to give you scores and highlights, analysis, and reaction, let's get to the reaction part right now. Brent Martineau, Coach Kevin Sullivan here on ESPN 690 on the radio side and on the social media channels. And we welcome in the coach of Trinity Christian, Verlin Dormady. Joined us a bunch on this show in the past. Is it still loud on that bus, or are you off the bus, Coach?
They're so tired they can't talk on this bus. They're wore out.
Well, that was a good one. That was a good one in the graveyard, man. 24-18. Tell us about it.
It was a great game. You know what? We came out, turned the ball over first drive, pick 6. Then we gave up a big run, and then we scored. Finally, we ran a kickoff back after it was 12-0. And then they got a long run on us. Made it 18-6. We come barreling back and went ahead. We went ahead 21-18 right before half. And we had a punt return that got us down inside the 5, and I think we had 2 punt returns or a long run. We turned the ball over 3 times. We should have won a little bit more than we did, but it was just sloppy first game. But you know what? We'll get better. Kids work hard. You know, man. It was violent out there tonight. There was some hitting going on out there in that game.
Well, I know you like
right now. Range is just.
I know you like that hitting now.
Yep. It was good.
Hey, Coach Kevin Sullivan's with us, Verlin, so I'll hand it over to him, coach to coach right now.
Hey, Verlin. I was trying to tell Brett, like you said, week one is so different than any other week playing because there's so much emotion and everything. And like you just alluded to, you turned the ball over, you played sloppy. And I always felt that you guys always started a little slow during the season because it takes your kids a little bit, like anybody else, and playing a quality opponent like you did at Range tonight. Tell me about the mindset of your kids going in. Do you worry about them trying to get caught up in the hype too much of playing the Range, Yeah,
I know. I think a lot of it is, now with social media, there's so much talk in between teams and kids. When we played, you just showed up and played a football game. Nobody knew each other. You lived across town and maybe run across each other. But, there's so much hype between the teams and before the games, and because they've all talked to each other all week. But you know what? We did well enough to win. We didn't play great, but we played well enough to win. And you know what? We came back. We were sloppy, and being down 18-7. Got a lot to say about your kids today. Those kids these days, a lot of times, man, they just fold under pressure, and our kids didn't. And give them that. They didn't fold under pressure. They played really, really hard defense.
And that's not an easy play. It's not an easy place to play over there either. To come back and get that win, and people don't understand how week one. If you just come out with a W week one, you're feeling pretty good as you're moving on.
If you come out with a W week one away at Range, hey, you know what? You're fortunate.
Yeah. Hey, Verlin Dormady with us, Trinity Christian. Congrats on the win. I want you, before I let you go, and I know we'll talk to you a bunch this year, but you got some special talent. Cam Miller, Trayon Webb. You got to give us a little insight on this Colin Hurley kid. How good can he be? How did he play?
You know what? He's getting better each week. Tonight he got rattled. Not rattled, but first pass got tipped and they picked it off. But he come back, made some great throws. But he's really going to be special. Only being a ninth grader and being 14 years old. He spent it really well, but he's going to be special in the next few years for sure.
I appreciate it, Verlin Dormy. Thanks for checking in. We'll probably see you next week or hear from you in a couple weeks on the Blitz Scoreboard Show. Thanks.
Hey, guys. Thank you.
All right, Coachy.
You too. That's Verlin Dormady there, Trinity Christian head coach. And how about that, huh? 18-7 down in the graveyard to Reigns and come back and get the win. It's not automatic, Coach. Trinity Christian has been about as automatic as you can get. But it's not automatic. You still got to go get it done. That's a nice test for them in week one. Probably show some moxie. Be interesting to see how that helps them down the road.
Yeah, and and again, like he said, and I've been repeating the whole thing, if you can come out of week one with a win, then you're moving forward no matter what happens because there's so much positivity and everything coming out. But to be able to be down in the graveyard and to be down in the graveyard 18-7 and to come back, that's going to be really good for them, really good.
All right. Hey, we're going to do something that we've never done before. And with the help of Baker Sports, we're starting a new segment here in the Blitz Scoreboard Show. It's called Committed to the Uncommitted. And this has been an interesting deal across high school sports, not just football. But with COVID and with the logjam in college, getting recruited for juniors and seniors is not the easiest of things. So we're going to introduce you to some players along the way that we can highlight. And right now you're seeing Tavio Toller, Providence running back. He's a senior. 350 yards and 7 touchdowns last week in the Jamboree against Eaglesview and Christchurch Academy. Battled through some injuries, going all the way back to his 8th grade where he fractured his L4 and L5 and then missed his freshman season, missed a few more games his sophomore year. So therefore, you can't get the tape going and everything else. So it's a slow recruiting time. But he's got a 4.20 GPA, National Honor Society kid. And I watched this guy in person last week, man. He was special. He was good. Now, Bishop Kenny did a nice job against Providence's offense tonight. But keep an eye on Tavio Toller, Committed to the Uncommitted, presented by Baker Sports. We'll continue to highlight kids throughout the area in all different sports as we go along all season long on the Blitz Scoreboard Show. A shout out to Tavio Toller, running back from Providence, and we hope a school will look at him soon enough, hopefully. By the way, we want to make sure we give a shout out to Baker Sports. And, well, everyone in town knows all about Baker Sports. Just about every high school in the area uses Baker Sports. Of course, homegrown and ready to help the home team look good on Friday nights and every night in any sport. Baker Sports been doing that since 1997. Your team experts offer the top brands like Under Armour and Adidas, screen print, embroidery, trophies, all done in-house right here in Jacksonville. Baker Sports will get you ready for your big game. Looking good so you can play good. Play ball with your team experts at Baker's Sports. Brent Martineau, Kevin Sullivan. It's the Blitz Scoreboard Show, and one of the big and early scores of the night. We showed you a little bit of the end of this one. Nice beat Ponte Vedra 14-7. Right now, the head coach of the Nice Panthers with us. That's Colin Drafts. Coach, nice win to start the year.
I tell you what, it was a great win. Obviously, big win for Nice and our community, and it was a heck of a first game. So I appreciate you guys having me on. We're excited.
I bet you're excited. Give us a little bit of insight about the game. We saw the end part. How about the beginning? Right. How did you guys start? How did you get ahead? Take us through the game a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was really back and forth. We were definitely a little tight, probably to be expected. I mean, it's a huge rivalry, Nice versus Ponte Vedra. We always play at the first game. Everybody's trying to get those jitters out. Couldn't really get anything going early on offense. I'll tell you what, our defense was just lights out all night. Ben Bogle picked off a pass middle of the first quarter, got us the ball inside the 8-yard line, and we hammered one in finally to go up 7. And then they had a big drive in the second quarter. And sorry, I'm on the bus heading back to Nice right now.
No, you're okay.
You're fine.
Yeah, and they had a nice drive, tied at 7-7 at halftime. And I mean, it was a deadlock all the way through the third quarter, even late into the fourth. Again, just couldn't get much going on offense. We finally popped one, though. Marcus Stokes, our junior quarterback, had a big-time run on a power read. I think it was probably 40 or 45 yards, and he took it all the way in. for a touchdown, and it was that 14-7, and then our defense sealed the deal with a couple more stops at the end, and we squeaked it out. So we'll take it how it comes. Just a big time win for us, though. Obviously.
Take it away, Kevin Sullivan. What you got for Coach?
Hey, Coach, tell us what the win coming out. I mean, I believe it's 11 straight they've beaten you, and then you in your third year be able to get the corner turned, and just sort of tell me about like your kids' resilience of the last couple years. That you got in there, knew there'd been a lot of turnover and a lot of change and stuff. And just give us a quick brief thing about your kids.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I think resilient is the best term to fit these guys. I knew coming in that it was going to be a difficult situation in Nice just for multiple circumstances. But I tell you what, to really get Nice turned around, you got to get over the Ponte Vedra hurdle. And,
right.
It was 12 years ago that the school split, and I think Nice won the first one, but then Ponte Vedra's won 11 in a row. And so this one's kind of always been circled. I tell you what, my first year in 2019, we gave them a run for their money. It was a game late, about a minute and a half left, and they pulled it out. And then we really didn't play well versus them last year. But we felt really confident this year going in with our dudes. And we've got 37 seniors this year.
Wow.
And,
Exactly.
A lot of those guys started as sophomores my first year. We played really young, and, for a reason. We kind of felt like that the third year, could possibly be the year to really get this thing moving in the right direction. You look at kids like, Grant Stevens and Dom
Right.
Henry and Donovan Wilson and Sam Deck, 3-year starters, and been in Nice all 4 years. And they've just been, the guys, Ben Bogle, our defensive guys, Zach Harmon and Chase Warner, these guys have been almost taught, and it's an indoctrination over here almost that PD just beats Nice.
Right,
and,
right.
And that's just not the way it's going to be anymore. And those guys took it upon themselves to kind of write their own story, so to speak. And they did it tonight. And, it's only one game, but for our community, you talk about, Ponte Vedra technically is in the Nice zone, which is kind of weird. It's right there in Nocatee, right before you get
Right.
over the Intercoastal. So these kids grow up together. They grow up going to school together, playing Pop Warner against one another, or sometimes, a lot of times with one another. And I'm just happy that we turned the corner tonight and got in the win column. And it really means everything for our community, for our kids, our body. I'm just excited. I really couldn't be more excited. I can't really explain it.
No doubt about it, man. You should be excited. Colin Drass with us, Action Sports Shacks on ESPN 690 Blitz Scoreboard Show with Kevin Sullivan as well, our coach, our analyst. You mentioned 37 seniors, man. That's a big deal. That's a
awesome,
memory.
man. Yes.
That's huge. You should be excited for them at the very least, and I know you are. Give us a quick note. One of the big stars that committed from you guys, your tight end, Grant Stevens, committed to UCF this week. I feel like Nice is a tight end factory. You guys have really turned some out over the years. What makes Grant special?
Well, I mean, first of all, he's one of our best leaders on the team. Is well respected in the locker room. Hardest working kid on the team. That sounds kind of cliche, but it really is. And on top of that, you look at him, and he looks like he should be playing for UCF already.
Yeah, he's big.
6'4", 230 pounds. And he's just sold out tonight. He gave it everything he had. Couldn't really get on the ball, in the air too much. I think he had 1 or 2 catches, but we lined him up at quarterback, snapped it to him a couple times inside the 10. He had a touchdown run. He also probably played 20 plays on defense, playing defensive end. And then late in the game, when they decided to third 15 seconds left, and they were out of timeout, so it was really the game. We just lined up in a wildcat and snapped it to him, and he fell forward for 5 yards, and that was all she wrote. So, Grant Stevens, he is Nice High School.
Awesome, Coach.
He's green and gold as they come. Went to Valley Ridge Middle School. He's been at Nice all 4 years, and I'm just proud. I'm proud that kids like Grant stuck it out. This day and age, you'll see kids,
Yes, sir.
Transfer or do this or do that. But these kids were just balled in, and they were going to be the ones to do something different. And he's the epitome of that. So I'm just extremely excited for him. And like you said, 37 seniors. These guys deserve it.
Yeah,
Well, they get to go out and be the ones that broke the streak. You know what I mean? We stopped the streak.
They'll never forget it. I mean,
No, sir,
they'll
will
never
not.
forget this.
No.
So we're excited.
Hey, Colin Drass, we appreciate you taking the time. Go celebrate that win.
Thank you,
and
Coach.
hey, you thought you were done with one rivalry. You got Creekside next week.
It's always a war with Creekside, too. That's going to be our home opener, and we're going to enjoy this one, for as long as we can, and then we'll hit the reset button on Monday and get ready for Creekside. But I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. Congrats on the win,
Coach.
Coach. That's Colin Drafts. 14-7 win over Ponte Vedra. First win over the Sharks in 12 years. Coach, you could feel it, right? I mean, you know that feeling, too. You know every single thing he said. I'm just thinking about you. You're like, yeah, I felt that a bunch of times, and it's a cool feeling. That's what Friday nights are about. That's what coaching's about, right?
Well, the thing about those seniors is that they're always going to remember that game. They could, our group was the group that stopped the streak. We beat Ponte Vedra. We hadn't beat them in 11 years, and we beat. You know what I mean? So they're going to carry that when they get together in 25 years. They're going to talk about this game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, 14-6, Clay is beating Fleming Island. That game finishing way late because it was lightning in the area. One of the big scores of the night has to go to 27-24. Atlantic Coast gets a win over Mandarin, and so a couple of streak busters tonight, Coach. I mean, that's important for programs. You mentioned you could feel it in Colin Drafts. You no doubt Atlantic Coast is fired up to get the win. West Side beats Andrew Jackson 13-0. We had Verlin Dormany on from Trinity Christian, 24-18 win. They were down 18-7 in the graveyard, came back, got it done. Ed White over Wakulla, 20-13. Bowles beats West Nassau 42-0. Middleburg 58-0 over Stanton. Bishop Kenny 31-0 over Providence. Eaglesview beats St. Joseph 50-7. Hope Christian 40-0 over St. John's Country Day. Yulee comes up short against Hawthorne. 14-7 was the final. Menendez 29-0 over Matanzas. And Nice, as we mentioned, beats Ponte Vedra 14-7. Brunswick up in Georgia wins 42-0 over McIntosh. First Coast loses to Dakota Ridge 23-20. Marty Lee's still doing it over there at First Coast. I think I saw him as like season number 25 for him or something.
Yeah, he's been there a long time. Already been there a long time. So that's a tough one for them. Going down there in Orlando and playing. It's a great trip for their kids, but it's a tough loss right there at 23-21.
Yeah, University Christian 37-7 out in the Panhandle over Booker T. The Booker T. Washington out in the Panhandle, that is. Clay over Fleming, like we mentioned, 14-6. Camden County scoring some points over Glenn, 39-21. Jeff Herron back as the coach of Camden County. When I first got here, Coach, Jeff Herron had it cooking at Camden County. I mean, that place, you might as well go to Midland, Texas. It looked like Friday Night Lights up there, and they've struggled a bit. They've got it back from time to time, but Jeff Herron back to try to bring back some of the glory days at Camden.
Yeah, I think it was a good homecoming for him to come back, beat Glen Academy and everything. And it'll take him about a year or so to really get him back and get him going down there. Because, again, there's so many people in that area, and there's so many people that he's coached. So I look for them in another year or two. I think they'll be solid this year, but I think another year or two they'll be really, really good.
And the latest score we have from Tokoi Creek, 28-22, Episcopal on top on the road. Tokoi Creek, the newest school in the area, playing their first game. So that was in a fourth quarter. That's the latest score. Hilliard beating Wilson 44-8 in the fourth. Bartram Trail up in the fourth, 24-7 over Rickards. Right now, let's bring in Westside head coach Rodney DeBose here to the Blitz Scoreboard Show. Brent Martineau, Kevin Sullivan. And I don't want you guys to get mad at each other here. Former Jackson guy and Coach Sully. But Coach DeBose,
Coach
a nice
DeBose,
win.
one of my guys.
Nice win over Westside tonight, man.
Yes,
I'm
sir,
sorry,
man.
over Jackson.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Coach Floyd's done a phenomenal job at Jackson. I knew when they brought him in that I said after we played the first time, I said, in a couple of years, people are not going to want to see you. And he definitely it was a tough battle last tonight.
Yeah, obviously your defense played well, right? I mean, because we talked about Jalen Saunier is a good player for Jackson. He's a weapon on offense, so to shut out the Tigers, pretty impressive. Got to believe you were happy with your D.
Oh, definitely. They bailed us out. We turned the ball over a couple of times back deep, and Jalen's got some weapons, and and he can get loose back there. And Big Jordan Hall made some crucial sacks at the end of the game. I think he had 2 sacks on the final drive. We made a pick. We got a pick 6 to get our first score. we only scored one touchdown on offense, but, we found a way to get the ball to Mr. McCray, and good things happen when that happens.
Yeah, he's a good player. Rodney DeBoe's with us, really one of the good guys in high school football, coaching at West Side. We were talking about this with Coach Sullivan earlier. You go into week one, and you're probably like, okay, I think we're pretty good at this. I know McCray's a really good player. I don't know if we're that good at this and this. How did this play out for you tonight? Did the things that you thought you were pretty good at, were you good at? And do you have a lot to work on?
We have a lot to work on. We're a young team. We have some talent. But, one of the focus for our team, Coach Sullivan can tell you is, coaches, we look for leaders on our team. And we've been very blessed the last couple of years to have a lot of leaders. So this year our goal has been to tell all our kids to be followers. We don't want any leaders. We just want
reverse psychology, right?
We do because, every good leader was a great follower. So that's the goal for our team. We don't want the pressure on our guys. Just go out there and play football. Mr. McCray and Mr. Hall made their names by following, just doing what they were asked to do. And so we're kind of in that same boat. I feel like as we progress, we have a chance to be pretty good. Anyone who's asked me, I said, if we can be good this year, we can be good for a minute. So we got a chance. So we got all hands on deck, and we're figuring it out. And coaches did a phenomenal job tonight. But our defense our defense basically won that game for us tonight.
That's awesome, Coach. And like I said, getting the first win week number one, no matter who the opponent, no matter where what, it's always tough to get that first win in. And hats off to you guys going over there to Main Street and getting it done.
Yeah, thank you, man. Like I said, the goal is to be 1-0 every week. And I told the boys they're 1-0 till Monday. We're 0-0 at midnight. So, but I tell you, Coach Sullivan, what's going on over at Jackson, and Coach Foy's doing a phenomenal job. I'm very proud of. He's a great friend of mine, and I'm very proud of being able to go there and play him and get out of there with a W and be done with it.
Hey, let me ask you about that real quick, okay? We're all competitive people, right? Heck, I got my kids playing baseball and softball, and you get competitive watching a 2-1 game in the seventh inning, right? And I have nothing to do with it. So that's the way we are as people. If you're in athletics. What's it like in the coaching fraternity when your buddies across the sideline or somebody you really respect across the sideline, win or lose? I mean, do you just not talk to them for the next week? Is it a text after? What's it like around here in the coaching fraternity?
I think in my situation, Coach Sully's kicked my butt a couple times, and Duran Wiley's dear friend, he's got me a couple years, OJ and I. But I think, as I tell all the guys, I tell them I hate you for 48 minutes a year. And so,
exactly.
I prepare for their team. I prepare because, of course, the one thing is we don't get to play. So neither of us are going to make any plays or anything like that. So we prepare our teams the best we can. And it's a great opportunity and a great honor to play, the kind of coaches we have in Jacksonville. We have some legendary coaches here, Coach Sullivan being one of them. And so the opportunity to line up and feel like, we prepared your team and he feels like we're a team that he respects. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to beat him without a doubt. But like I said, I hate him for 48 minutes a year, and that's it.
I love it. Hey, Coach
That's
DeBose,
how it should be, too.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. Coach DeBose, nice win, 13-0. Good luck next week. We always appreciate calling the Blitz Scoreboard Show.
Thank you very much. You guys have a blessed night. And always, I thank you for what you do for high school football in Jacksonville.
You bet.
All right, Coacher.
I think we should thank Coach DeBose for what he does. He's awesome, man. I love him.
Does a great job.
One of my favorites. And
really proud of him.
It's pretty cool. You know all these guys, and I love what you said earlier with Coach Foy, and you hired him back, and because you knew what he was all about at Jackson when you were the athletic director. Coach Montemayor at Atlantic Coast, and he hired him when he was 21 years old, and now gets a signature win, a big win over his rival Mandarin to start the year. I bet there's a lot of pride for you, Coach Sullivan. Watching all these scores, win or lose, but the work some of these guys are doing.
Well, they always say, you got a coaching tree, so, a lot of my guys I'll root for them. I've always had a lot of respect for Rodney for being at a school like Westside and having his ups and downs and, sticking it out and staying there. So, and he's been the last few years having some really good, tremendous teams, and kids are staying at the school and playing where they're supposed to play. And we need a lot more of those kind of coaches. That it's more about the kids and the development and the stuff off the field than it is about the W on Friday night. And that's what we need in Duval County. And we have a lot of those guys, but we have some that need to get on there to do it.
Yeah, no doubt. You said it too. If you can keep the folks there, keep the the talent there, right? That's
Yes.
definitely a big thing. No doubt throughout the area. Hey, want to mention you saw probably Bradford score a touchdown in the last 5 minutes or so as we show some of the highlights live. What's going on? 28-18, Baker County beating Bradford. Is that one over, Casey?
That one is not over. About 3 minutes left, but Baker County's trying to run out the clock as we speak.
Baker County knows how to win, right? They're so used to that. Just to recap, we got a few more minutes left on the show. Brent Martineau, Kevin Sullivan, our coach, our analyst, doing a heck of a job. Coach, you having some fun?
Oh, man, this is great. This is awesome. I love it.
Casey's doing a great job. This is the first time he's done the show. I tell you, he's been awesome. I mean, there's a lot going on back here in the studio to get you some video, the highlights, the scores that you see rolling by on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. And I want to invite you, if you listen on ESPN 690, that's great. We'll give you the scores, the highlights, the reaction, the analysis. But if you can get on social media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, then you can see the video, see some of the ends of games, see some of the highlights that we've shot. So there's more to it. You can go back and watch it, of course, on the video feeds as well. Our big story of the night, Sandalwood beats Fletcher 19-15. We have Coach Geis on. He just called in. I think he did. Let's get Coach Adam Geis. A trip to the beach, over the ditch, and a win. That's always a good thing. Coach Geis, welcome to 2021 Friday nights.
Thank you very much. It was a nice trip to the beach, baby.
I bet it was. We've been talking about your quarterback, Chris Calhoun. How did he play tonight? How did you guys play tonight?
Yeah, Chris was lights out. He scored all 3 of our touchdowns, just ran the offense perfectly. Been with me for 3 years now, so the kid's he's on point, man. He can do it all.
What give us a sense of that late in the game? We're watching. Marcel Robinson was there. We'll have highlights coming up on the Friday Night Blitz on Fox 30 in just about 10 minutes. That's our game of the week. But I saw it was 15-12, and then you guys score, and then you get a late interception. Is that kind of how it went down?
Yeah, pretty much. We had some really nice drives. Kind of missed a field goal. Kind of turned the ball over a couple times after some nice drives. It's one of those games like you're gonna look at those stats and see some lopsided numbers, but that L that goes with it sometimes. And we were just lucky that we played some great defense at the end, and then we went on 2 long drives and came up short, and then we got the ball back with about 3.5 left, and then went on about a 65-yard drive. And Fletcher played hard, man. They played that number. They played Hester, man, all over the place, and they ran him late, trying to ice the game, man. But he hadn't played a lot of football. I know he didn't play last week, and I think he got a little bit winded. It's tough to play both ways in Florida, man, this time of year.
Especially that big a kid playing over there. Kevin Sullivan, congratulations, buddy. That had to feel good.
The legend, man. We had some great games, man. I miss you out there, man. I appreciate you sending me that picture of you sitting on the beach the other day. I don't think we caught a pass in like the first 20 minutes of practice. We dropped every ball possible, and then all of a sudden my phone goes off. It's Kevin sitting at the beach. I miss you. I bet you do, man.
I know. Yeah, man. I was thinking about you. At least I'm thinking about you.
I said, man, what am I doing? I should be sitting there with him right now. We haven't caught a pass in 20 minutes, man.
Hey, Adam, I got something for you. Here's the thing. He's still sitting at the beach. He's doing this show from the beach.
This guy's listen, man, this guy's a legend all around. It's a 360-degree legend, man. He's got it from every angle, man. This guy's sending me pictures. It looked like a Coors Light commercial, man. Like sitting on the beach.
Easy now, easy.
It's 130 degrees, at Sandalwood for us practicing. Here's this guy, beachfront. Like, yeah. I think you got the wrong end of this one.
Someday, man. Someday. Hey, what does this win do maybe for you guys as we wrap up the show down the road? I mean, does it give you some momentum, some confidence? You guys feel good, obviously, about it.
Yeah, we're pretty much shutting down the season right now, man. It was a great season. And, listen, I'm at the beach all the time, man. I think that's 4 in a row for us, man, against those Cats, man. And, it's a great place to go play, man. I love seeing Joe Reynolds out there, man. We got me my first job, but it's always good to win out there. I spend too much time at the beach not to win.
There you go.
That's awesome. Adam, guys, thanks for joining us, man. Nice job. We'll see you down the road.
All right, see you guys.
All right, that's Adam Geis, Sandalwood Saints. They get the win over Fletcher tonight. Hey, Coach, we got about 45 seconds left in the show. That's it, man. How about that?
I'll tell you what, it went good, man. It went good and fast. Been some good wins tonight. Been, like you said, been some streak busters tonight.
Yeah, Columbia wins. University Christian looking good at Booker T. Washington in the Panhandle. You mentioned it. Atlantic Coast with a big-time win, 27-24 at Mandarin tonight. That ends the streak. Sandalwood wins the Battle of the Ditch over Fletcher, 19-15. Riverside, 28-3. Trinity Christian comes back from 18-7 down and wins in the Graveyard, 24-18. Westside shuts out Jackson. Englewood beats Paxton, 35-27. Bulls over West Nassau, 42-0. A couple other scores rolling in, and we'll update you that as we continue. Nice gets a win 14-7 over Ponte Vedra. First time in a dozen years beating Ponte Vedra. Coach, we'll do it again next week. Enjoy the rest of the weekend at the beach.
You got it, buddy. I'll talk to you later. All right, Casey, thanks.
All right, I'm running downstairs to the Friday Night Blitz on TV. If you missed any of the show, you can go back and watch Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, but now flip on your television. Watch on Fox 30. It's coming up in about 7 minutes, the Friday Night Blitz. Thanks for being with us on the Blitz Scoreboard Show on ESPN 690. Have a good weekend. We are into that travel, baseball, and softball season now for the kids, and with that, we need a reliable car, and we need folks that are tremendous at customer service just in case we need their help. Well, the place to go is Fields Auto Group. That's what we did. My wife loves leasing her Cadillac XT6 from Fields Cadillac, part of the Fields Auto Group. It's safe. We can trust Fields Auto Group, and hey, it's luxury for less while you're on the road. Fields Cadillac Jacksonville and St. Augustine are part of the Fields Auto Group family. There's also Jaguar, Land Rover, Lexus, Mercedes-Benz, and Porsche. It's luxury for less at all